We're on. We're on live. So I'll say this, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching this beautiful live stream that is popping up right now, welcome to Spot 127 Boot Camp. And we have something very special that all of the students here at Boot Camp have been working on so much. We are going to do Spot 127's first live podcast. Students only in this one, their opinions, their thoughts, their topic that they chose, their questions that they presented together. This is one of the biggest projects that they'll be doing. And I want to pass it over right now, who will be starting our podcast, coming out of Arizona. I'm assuming Brooklyn's coming out of Arizona.
Yep.
Brooklyn coming out of Arizona, standing at 6'5", 285 pounds, bench presses 578, squats 980 pounds, a right hook that could knock out two cows simultaneously. Ladies and gentlemen, Brooklyn DeMar will start us off in 3, 2, 1.
One of the biggest topics of discussions going on in the world right now is the coronavirus. First started to be reported in China and soon spread to almost every country. While many countries and states have reopened, the virus is still very alive and scary for many. Today, we will be discussing with many teens from all over Arizona who have participated in an online educational program through Spot 127. They will voice their views and feelings on this topic. This is Brooklyn Amar for Spot 127 for Spot On. First, I'd like to start off with Cicely. How did you feel when the quarantine first began? What was your initial reaction?
When the quarantine began, I had some mixed feelings about the situation. First, going into quarantine made me feel a bit safer. The chances of getting sick at home was lower than the chances of getting sick at school. I was also a bit afraid about going into quarantine. If we had to go to the extremes to where we must be kept in our houses all the time, then the situation probably wasn't going the best. My initial reaction was to calm myself down and then figure out how things would work. Things such as school, karate classes, etc. Overall, the quarantine gave me mixed feelings, and when it first started, I decided to get more information about the situation as possible.
Absolutely. I think many had the same feelings. Edgar, compared to the beginning of quarantine to now, how have your feelings towards the virus changed and how to proceed forward?
Well, my feelings towards the virus haven't actually changed much besides the fact that I don't think it's as dangerous as I did at the very beginning. At the very beginning, I was very cautious and very scared that if I stepped out in public at all, I would get it. But I do still think it is a very dangerous virus and that it needs to be taken care of. But as to how do we proceed forward, at the beginning of the quarantine, I believe we should have done a full lockdown to stop the spread of the virus and prevent it as much as possible. But then we reopened up and the number of cases jumped through the roof and they're still spiking up every day. And so now instead of preventing it, it feels like now we have to do damage control of what's already happened and all those people that have already gotten sick, which is really sad and it's a terrible thing.
Absolutely. It can be very frightening. Dustin, has COVID affected your future plans? How so?
I think COVID-19 has definitely affected my future plans, mainly for school in the fall, because I am not confident that there's going to be a vaccine anytime soon. And if school is going to be online, it's going to be very different. My school did go online in when it first started for those few months, but it's going to be a lot tougher if I have to go online for the entire year. Also, just in case that the coronavirus is still around after the vaccine, it's going to make me feel a bit more cautious when we go on traveling or go visit family members in other states.
Definitely. Tanya, speaking of schools and online, how did the shutdown impact your day-to-day routine and what were major changes for you?
Well, for me, it was different because I'm not really used to doing online classes. Primarily, like that's the only thing I do, just online classes. And even for my school, they even changed the schedule to like be a little bit later instead of like starting at 8 a.m. They started at 10 a.m. So I thought that was that like did change my schedule. I didn't have to wake up as early, and I actually liked it a lot better.
Nice. Carson, what was your school's initial reaction to COVID-19 and how did they deal with the process?
Well, for my school, we acted upon the idea of online school a few days later than the majority of others in Arizona. Within the first few days of quarantine, our entire program was online, and we already had online meetings every hour. So it definitely changed the whole face of it because of how big my school was, too. So it got a little lonely, but it was very interesting.
Thank you for sharing. Joey and Frankie, how have your personal experiences been with online school? Do you hope to return to normal schooling or continue online going into this next year?
I mean, with online school, it's harder to learn, but it's way easier to pass your classes, you know. I can cheat and the teachers won't know. Don't record this, by the way. But so yeah, it's like when I'm taking a test, you know, it's not like they're gonna know if I'm Googling the answers or stuff. So school just became super easy, and I feel like it was just a free pass now, and I wonder how that's gonna continue to next year because I feel like they probably caught on to that stuff. They're probably gonna try stopping students.
Joey, what were
My,
your feelings?
my online experience was actually, I felt like online school was a lot easier. I went to a Catholic school, and so all the grades did count, unlike most public schools. So it was just kind of different. Like you had to do your work. I did all my work. Some kids didn't. So yeah, you kind of just had to live with that. And for next year, I hope that when I go into high school, I hope it will be a formal classroom, just because it's a lot easier and traditional.
I think a lot of students are hoping for that. Sophie, in many cases, some colleges are doing hybrid classes where they split the academics between online and in person. Would you prefer this option to other routes, or does this not appeal at all?
I feel like the colleges are doing the best that they can with trying to balance COVID while also balancing like the actual college experience. And the thing is, my major, it's engineering, and it requires a lot of hands-on stuff, right? And it's a lot harder to do that stuff online where you have a screen in front of you. It makes the communication harder when engineering is a lot about collaborative work too. So it's definitely going to be different, especially with freshmen having still going through that transition. But it's the best solution we can do for the moment.
Absolutely. Hannah, do you think online school for high school has been easier or harder? Do you think that participating in online school will impact how students learn for the future?
Personally, I think it's a little harder because I'm more of a person who learns from listening than watching, because they always put what on the screen. They never say, how do you do this, what you do that. And it's just a little bit hard to communicate better. I say that because students don't know how to turn in assignments, or they don't turn in assignments at all. Overall, online school is a bit difficult personally, but for other scholars, I'm positive that online school will impact them greatly.
Definitely. Now, being at home on a day-to-day basis, how has being isolated impact your moods and the way you have acted? Varsha.
Well, staying at home has given me the chance to try to like find new hobbies and continue new hobbies and such to keep me sane. I find that like I stay calm while doing things, so I'm constantly like trying to do something new, and like I've been doing painting and stuff. But it's kind of messed with my sleep schedule and stuff, so yeah.
Interesting. Lacey, how did you feel?
Well, I struggle with depression, so going to school would force me to interact with people and force me to be social, so it helped my mood normally. But now that I'm home, I don't have a reason to like leave my room or to talk to people. So it's definitely had a negative impact on me, more so than a positive.
I'm sorry to hear that. Are there certain ways you have learned to cope with these things during this time?
Yeah, as Varsha was saying, to develop new skills like being here at Spa, and then like I've been practicing photography, and that seems to help me personally.
Sounds great. Juliet, have you had specifically anyone close to you who has contracted the virus, and did that change your view on the situation?
We have had over 4 family members that have caught coronavirus. My cousin's boyfriend, who was very close to our family, whom lives in Arizona, unfortunately, caught coronavirus and died from coronavirus. And it really made my family, and especially me, open up my eyes in the reality of what's going on. People used to take it as a joke that, okay, it's just in China, it's not going to touch us. But when unfortunately my cousin's boyfriend died, it was the hardest thing for us because now we started realizing that this is real. It really hit that close to us and it hit home hard. So it really made us open our eyes. And when we don't see other people taking precautions, it now enrages me because, they're not taking it very seriously when there's so much damage that's being done.
Do you think that if everyone had a close family member, friend that had been impacted, like in the way which you had, do you think they would take it seriously and more cautious the way you do?
More serious, cautious, and open-mindedness, understanding that, it's not just a game anymore. It's not just a trend, a meme that we talked about early in the year, but it's now something serious. We're in quarantine, we're wearing masks, it's serious now. And if people did have someone to kind of relate to, or not relate to, but if they had someone that ended up catching the virus, now they would understand the pain and the open-mindedness of now having that virus hit so close to them, if that makes sense.
Definitely. Joshua Jenkins, how does it make you feel to see hundreds of people packing into areas without any regards to safety?
Personally, it's irritating because my main concern for coronavirus isn't getting it myself, it's bringing it back to my family. And I think that's what most people should be thinking about when they're going out and getting into groups and stuff. Because I think that's a little selfish to just only to care about how much fun you're having instead of the potential risk that you could give to your family. And it just goes to show you how people don't understand how serious this is. And specifically Arizona, as soon as we opened up, people just started going out just because they could. And we had a spike in cases, and it's no coincidence that it happened as soon as restaurants and malls and stuff reopened. Whereas places like New York actually listened and stayed inside, and now we've surpassed them in daily cases. So if we've learned anything, it's that we probably should have stayed in lockdown.
Absolutely. I think many would agree with you. Valentino, how has the coronavirus and quarantine changed your perception of life and the world as a whole?
The way coronavirus changed my perception of like the world is that like everything is like breaking down very slowly. I mean, like whole companies have to like shut down because of coronavirus. They can't have employees working, and there's a lot of businesses just going out of business. Also, stocks are pretty crazy right now, and there's a lot of people that are like unemployed now, and they have families and they have to feed them. Also, they have to go out in public to like go to the store or something to like pay for groceries that they may or may not even have the money for. So I think it's just ruining the lives of like a lot of the U.S. citizens and around the world.
Definitely, I think it's made a big impact. Marcus, how has being quarantined changed how you have connected with your friends?
So I've had a similar experience like this before for the last few years with my closest friends. One lives all the way in Chandler and the other lives all the way in Vancouver. and the virus is also hitting hard over there, but it doesn't exactly feel like anything is changing. But whereas for people who I'm friends with, like in Phoenix at school, we can't even go to school. So now we're doing Xbox parties and FaceTimes for everybody because nobody's able to go anywhere anytime soon.
Absolutely. Jose, how has being at home made an impact on your mental health?
Being at home uh, has really made it worse for my mental health because generally when I'm not at school, I don't have anyone to talk to, and and during this whole lockdown thing, uh, I got a lot sadder because um, I was talking to this girl and I really liked her, but then like the whole time that I was talking to her, it was like a whole lie, and so that made it a lot worse because I didn't have people to talk to apart from her, and so yeah, it really was not a good thing for me.
Yeah, that can be very startling. Michael Ferguson, what was or is one of the biggest challenges that you have had to get over or are going through during quarantine?
I'd say it's to find something to do. Quarantine can be boring, so I've been playing a lot of video games, going in the pool. When it was a bit nicer outside, I started to make a bike path in this dried out riverbed near my house, but summer heat has prevented that. It's just a lot of boredom and cabin fever.
Definitely, I think a lot of kids our age would agree with you, especially about the heat. It can make it very difficult to entertain yourself outside. Natalie, what do you think made the spark in people being so greedy about materials during this time?
I think what made people greedy was because a lot of people were scared about quarantine and they just wanted to stay in their house. So I think they just wanted to take everything for themselves to protect them, you know?
Definitely, I think the media also played a huge role in showcasing that people were just stocking up for that time. Joey and Frankie, how do you think the media has made an impact, beneficial or negative, on how we have dealt with this? Do you trust the media in the information that they share?
Um, Personally, I never really trusted these big media companies like Fox News, CNN, MSNBC. They always their whole thing is about money and getting ratings and stuff like that. So they're always trying to push a narrative or push an agenda, and they just don't go for the truth. So personally, I be looking at independent journalists, or especially with the coronavirus, I read scientific studies because that's where the real facts are coming from. The news, they're gonna be lying to you. They're either gonna be trying to scare you or trying to get you go outside or something like that. They're always trying to push something on you. So I just don't trust it.
I think the media has had a neutral impact because online or offline people have the same ideas. So the media is just a way for them to voice it, but it's happening on both sides, so it doesn't really make much of a difference. Some forms of media can be trusted, some can. It's just you have to know what to look at and find.
Interesting, I can definitely see your viewpoint. Joshua Jenkins, from here on out, do you think people will be more prepared for quarantines to happen again in the future? How do you think this will have a long-lasting effect on society?
I think it's gonna like mess with people because I'm sure everyone has their limit, and you can only take being in quarantine so long. I've been like on YouTube, and there's a lot of YouTube couples that are like breaking up and stuff because I guess they just didn't know they couldn't be with each other this long with just them. So like, it might have a negative effect on like maybe people's like relationships or people's like mental state. I don't. So far, like I'm good, but maybe people. I don't think people are prepared to be into quarantine for a long time because you saw how eager people were to like get out of the house as soon as like the quarantine was lifted. So I think at some point people are saying like, you know what, I don't want coronavirus to like ruin the fun I can have in my life, so I'm just gonna go out regardless.
I think it's a very good viewpoint. I think a lot of people would feel the same way, and I think a lot of people would completely disagree and take the cautious measures. Joshua Pate, how do you think the country as a whole will take protective measures from now on out to prevent viruses and pandemics in the future?
Well, for sure, like we are learning a lot about the virus right now and how we need to pay attention to more of what the CDC and other sources of information recommend us to do. I think the biggest thing that a civilian can do who doesn't understand how a specific virus works is to listen to the experts about it and not think that you're an expert yourself just because you do your own research on Google from people who have the same viewpoint as you, because that's not how you do research in the first place.
Definitely. Sophie, how has your family dealt with the after effects of reopening the economy, specifically in Arizona? Have they been more cautious and allowed, or have they been allowed the opportunities to start going back to normal again?
So my parents, they're dentists, right? And one of the main ways viruses are transmitted is through the mouth. And since they're always like next to patients' mouths, they always have to worry about like spreading the virus or like those potential lawsuits. So honestly, it's more like a new normal where they always have to clean up and have to always worry about potential, like where could this virus be coming from, how to clean up the office and all that stuff. I feel like there will be a new normal. It just won't be what it was beforehand. We'll just be a lot more cautious nowadays.
Absolutely. Hamlet, do you want things to go back to how they were before the outbreak, or do you enjoy how they are now?
Well, I think I'd be lying if I said that when things first started, I didn't appreciate the time, because I was doing stuff in college and having the opportunity to like stay at home and not have to deal with going out every single day and everything. It was nice at first, but I think though I had a larger tolerance for the kind of shut-in behavior than a lot of people, even to me, man, it's become way too much. And it's honestly, the whole experience has just been a very demoralizing and negative thing. And I hope in one sense that things go back to normal, in that I can see my community start to come back and associate with each other again, because I really miss that. But at the same time, with all the issues happening in society and in the government, which are directly compounding upon these problems, I hope that we get a huge change in our society and the way that we treat these kinds of issues before we even think about going back to normal.
Definitely. I really appreciate your point of view. Juliet, how have you dealt with that?
Well, the problem is that if we do, like Hamlet said earlier, if we do go back to this normal, we're just going to sweep this under the carpet as though it never happened, and we're just going to go back to our daily lives. That's the one thing we don't want happening, because if we just sweep it under the rug, it's going to be like a situation all over again. Somebody had said that history repeats itself. How do we not know this isn't going to happen again? So that's one of the many things that really brought my attention to what Hamlet said. But if there's one thing I wish we could teach society, I guess, is that, I don't know, just become more open-minded, I suppose, because truth be told, if we're not that open-minded, it's bound to happen again.
Absolutely. Joseph Harrington, do you have any thoughts?
No.
Okay. Varsha, do you think that the world will be drastically different after COVID, or will everything go back to our previous ways? If you think it will be different, what do you think the new normal will look like?
I feel like we will return to normal, whatever that may be, not anytime soon, because the coronavirus still isn't over. And I feel like some people, once it's over, they'll just go out they'll return to the way things were before the virus because they're just so happy that it's over. And I feel like others will be more cautious going outside. They'll still try to maintain social distance and wear masks. I feel like we're going to be very cautious, a bit scared, and still kind of unsure of what to do anymore because we've been in quarantine and like in a different place for so long. Quarantine has become the new normal for most of us. It's just going to be hard to adjust. And I think the economy is going to still be like kind of reeling from this. And there's still people who lost their jobs who need to support their families and they still need to get back on their feet. So I think the new normal isn't going to be very good. It's just going to be us trying to pick up all the pieces and put them back together.
It's a very interesting and thoughtful viewpoint. Sophie, do you have anything on that?
I like to say I agree with Varsha. And the thing is that, like, financially, the U.S. is having a lot of issues. There's unemployment is like skyrocketing at this point, and so many people have lost jobs. I feel like Corona just really shed light on pre-existing financial issues in this country, since a lot of people aren't financially literate. That their one income, their one source of income, their job, when it's suddenly gone, they're all struggling. And I feel like we all need to find ways to support ourselves in the future in case something like this happens again.
Absolutely. Jose, do you have any thoughts as well?
Sorry, can you repeat the question, please?
Do you think that the world will be drastically different after COVID, or will everything go back to our previous ways? If you think it will be different, what do you think the new normal will be like?
I believe that until we have a new vaccine, that things will be slightly different, and that we will be more cautious with the things we touch, and like we may not, we may not, we may doubt like the worth of going to a certain place, such as like before we may just go to the store just to look around. However, now um, we may second guess that decision because we don't want to contract the virus.
Absolutely. Speaking, you guys spoke of jobs and financial literacy. Many teenagers make it a goal to get a job before they go to college. How do you think COVID has made an impact on teenagers getting jobs? Dustin.
I think COVID has made certain jobs, certain types of jobs that like may require more hands-on work or closer, like less clean environments, less appealing to teenagers, and maybe they probably want to make sure that if they do a job, they want to make it safe, or maybe they will be they may not work at like one of those less clean place than they would like to, and I think they would want to go to college a bit more to get a good education and make sure they can get a job that can support themselves if if another thing like this happens in the future.
Absolutely. Lacey, do you have any thoughts on this? Lacey, are you there?
Yeah, I don't have any other thoughts than as opposed to what Dustin just said.
Kind
Hannah,
of
what
going
do
off
you think? Go ahead, Juliet.
kind of going off what Dustin said, teenagers trying to find jobs right now is so difficult, being that, of course, everything wants to be sanitary and clean. Take it from me, I'm literally babysitting right now as it is, and I'm working 2 jobs, and it's difficult for teenagers. Of course, we want to work and succeed and get what we need, but around this time right now with the economy and the way it is, it's so difficult for teenagers to even find a job at a fast food place. So I just want to put that out there.
Absolutely. Barsha, do you have any thoughts?
I think that some people will be more cautious about where they choose to like apply for jobs because when quarantine started and everything closed down, we got to see how some companies treat their employees. Some of them literally just threw them out and said, okay, we're closed now. And other ones like reimbursed them and like continued to pay them until they could find another job. So it kind of shows how some companies really are in regards to treating their employees. And people will be like more cautious about where they work, maybe.
Absolutely. If perhaps in the next year or so a vaccine was created, how would you feel about taking it, or perhaps anyone in your family taking it? Carson?
For me personally, I think that I would still take the vaccine, but there really is no way to prove that it works until you don't have it. And it's like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's like you might not get it, but there are also chances of you not getting it without the vaccine as well. So, I feel like I'd want to wait and see how it's affecting the community before I did it first, but I'm still staying inside.
Yeah, I appreciate your opinion. Frankie, do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'd definitely take a vaccine. I'm one of the high risk people. I got asthma, so if I got the coronavirus, I got a good chance of dying, which is, not that cool, if we're being honest. So yeah, I'd probably, put a needle on my arm just for the one time.
Yeah. Josh or Pate, do you have any thoughts as well?
Yeah, I mean, basically, I know personally I would take the vaccine as well because, like, I get flu shots and immunization records in general because not only I need to for school, but I would like to be a healthy human being. I do agree with Frankie because I also have asthma as well, and it's just one of those things that I would rather protect myself. I would be most concerned about people who are anti-vaxxers, who are against the whole like taking vaccines in general, because I think they could ruin it for the rest of the economy.
Absolutely. Well, I would like to thank everyone for being here and sharing their views and opinions. Does anyone have any last thoughts on today's discussion? Go ahead, Julie.
Stay informed. Please wear a mask. Wash your hands. Hand sanitizer. Just stay safe. And yeah.
Thank you for that reminder. Anyone else? Go ahead, Marcus.
I remember a piece of advice actually from Charlie Brown, actually, where Linus said, "At least the world didn't come to an end," and I fully believe that the world is not coming to an end, despite everything going on. So we are going to get through this. It's only a matter of time.
Absolutely. Anyone else? Okay, well, I would like to thank you guys for tuning in to Spot On for Spot 127 and tuning in for the live stream and podcast, and hope you enjoyed today's discussion.
Title screen. Ladies and gentlemen, congratulations on completing your very first podcast here at Spot 127's very first online boot camps. In the 9 years that I have been here.
Brooklyn, you did it!
Woohoo! Yes, Brooklyn.
You were good, Brooklyn.
Brooklyn,
Yeah,
you are on.
nervous. You tell I messed up on like everything.
No, you
did
fine. You did great.
You're amazing, Brooklyn.
Brooklyn. Brooklyn, yes,
I can't
man.
clap because I was using my phone.
Give it up again
so
for Brooklyn.
I
Give it up
really
again for
hurt
Brooklyn.
myself.
Thank you.
Yeah, man.
Oh my god, I feel like a brown ball.
So I want to say this. Out of all the podcasts, and Hamlet's been there since I believe day one of when we started the podcast project. Out of all the podcasts we've ever done, this one will probably be the most memorable to me. This has probably been the one where everyone, Hamlet, I can only speak to you on this one, that has been the most prepared in the shortest amount of time.
Oh yeah.
Woo!
And a rookie host in her first shot
Wait.
Nailed it.
You see her
You
now?
nailed it.
Imagine when she's trained. Oh man.
Yeah.
You are.
All of you guys.
Incredible how awesome this was. You guys did absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The standard has now been set.
Yeah,
at
it
Spot
has.
127.
I
Holy
could not have
moly.
done it without you guys. Seriously, you guys helped me so. No, seriously, it means the world to me. Thank
Take some
you.
credit, Jules.
I love there's so many things. And just to let you know, Brooklyn, you went 40 minutes. You went 40 minutes. And the thing is, it was going so good. Big Boss hits me and she's like, we're at 20 minutes. And I was like, she's perfect. She hasn't missed a step. No one's missed a step. Everyone's on beat. Guys, you hitting your microphone on and off, perfect. Everyone did great. Joshua, you did great. Frankie, you did great. Marcus, you did great. Michael Polesnik, you did great. Carson, you did fantastic coming out of left field. It was great. No one even saw your response coming. It was so good. Tanya, so nice to have you finally visually and voice in class. Yeah, it was good. Victory bubbles from Frankie for everyone. Thank you so much. Everyone did good. I really thought what was cool at the very end was Marcus's line from Charlie Brown.
Yeah,
Really?
I thought that was so cool too.
I literally found it.
And
I remember
Julie's
that
reminder,
quote
that was solid. Right on.
I remember that quote from a couple days ago. Actually, I found it on Twitter where Charlie Brown was saying that he's never going to go to school again because he lost a spelling bee, and then Linus shows up and told him that you may feel like a failure now, but at least the world didn't come to an end.
It's true. It's true. I want to point out one thing. Joey Harrington.
Yeah, I wasn't paying attention. I'm sorry.
It's okay. That's okay. So I'll tell
I
you
was
who
sitting
else
there
was.
watching. I wasn't doing anything else, but I was just zoned out.
No, yeah, you were just you had a laser light focus, which is okay. You know who else wasn't kind of paying attention but knew how to get out of the situation?
Don't say that.
Ooh.
Jose. And it was so funny. It was so funny because Jose. It was so funny because Jose was just calling you out in Discord, and then it happens to him.
Could you repeat the question, please?
Right. But
Which was
I want
a
you.
good tactic.
Yes, and Jose knows to do that because Jose is trained. So just to keep in mind, as an experience for everyone else, if you're not paying attention and you get called on, yeah, total F in the chat for guys.
Oh wow! I got exposed.
Do what Jose did.
What happened?
So yeah,
I'm gonna see for damages.
Do what Jose did. If you're not paying attention, say, hey, can you repeat the question again? Brooklyn DeMar, on the money. Hey, I'll give you the question again. I'll feed. That's what you have to do as a host, is feed the interviewee to get what you need out of them. You did fantastic. All your questions were great. Okay, Valentino and everyone. All right.
Touch more on the dog.
Jose, why are
I
you
didn't
paying
think about
respect
that
to
until Varsha mentioned it.
Let me,
And when
guys,
Varsha
in the chat.
went off on it, I was
Easy
like,
in
oh, I
the
love
chat.
that.
Easy in the chat so I can talk a bit. Thank you. Brooklyn, say that again.
I wish I had thought about jobs beforehand, because when Varsha and Sophie mentioned it, I was like, oh my gosh, I love this. Because for me, like when I turned 16, I was like, oh, I really want to get a job. Like I've always wanted to. And I know a lot of teenagers have a goal to get a job, whether it's just for fun or to earn money and stuff like that. And I think I wish I'd touched on it a little bit more, but next time.
Another thing too was the vaccine one. The question kind of came up at the very end because Jose had said, like, oh, I think things will get back to normal once we have a vaccine. Well, I know a lot of people that would be like, I'm not taking a vaccine. I don't know what's in that. Like, I don't know what these things do.
About that.
Yeah. And so it was cool to hear Frankie's point.
Would be in the vaccine.
Yeah. You don't even know. But Frankie
No,
had
like that's how vaccines work.
Oh yeah. Part of it's in there. Yeah. So you get immune to it. But Frankie said something really cool that he was like, hey guys, I'm a high risk person for this thing. So yeah, I'd probably want to take it because I have asthma. And then it was so cool to go to Pate, where Pate's like kind of in the same boat. This is how I feel. And that's the beautiful thing that you're learning, guys, and the hosts are learning, is that something will spark in your mind. I gotta ask this. I know what I have on paper, but this is good stuff. You all did good. Joey Harrington, does this give you an insight for
Yes.
there you go. Can you do me a huge favor for tomorrow when it's your turn?
Uh-huh. What do you
Clean
mean?
your room, bro.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We're like uh-huh. I know.
I'm just saying.
Laundry.
No,
Just put on a green screen, bro.
No, Joshua's fine. Joshua Pate's fine. I only noticed it till like halfway in, and
Yeah,
and
there's all
Joey,
these clothes over there.
don't worry, Big Boss does the same to me and is like, put them away. So she's smiling right now. So you guys all did great. There's nothing more that I could add. It was Hamlet. It's a 10 out of 10.
Yo,
It's a 10 out of 10.
There's no way it's not.
That's kiss.
Thanks to Brooklyn.
Everybody-
Yeah.
I think you guys to really understand,
Thank you.
man. Not
Brooklyn
only
being an amazing
do you
host.
have a novice host, not only do we have a couple new people in here who I don't think that we've done podcasts with in the past. Not only did you pull off something on a medium that's never been done at this freaking place before in the program, but you also did it in one of the cleanest, smoothest performances that I've ever seen. Like, there are groups who we've done it physically in person for like the 5th time, and they still don't get it as clean as this one went. You guys did amazing. Great job.
I can't.
You taught me something, Brooklyn.
I really can't think of another time at Spot where something went so clean on the first try. I can't, Hamlet. I can't. And also, can we do something real big right now?
What?
Everyone that's on camera right now, please give it up for Big Boss. Give it up for Big Boss.
Big Boss.
Give it up for Big Boss. Totally pulling this one out.
Wait, I want to.
And say something, Pay?
Oh, so do you guys remember in 2012 when everyone said the world was gonna end?
Yeah.
Well, something that is kind of funny is by the Ethiopian calendar, it is actually currently 2012.
Oof, epic.
Oh wow.
Oof. That explains a lot,
so-
to be honest.
So we have 5 minutes left of class.
5 minutes. You hear that?
I wanna ask you guys this. Did you enjoy this project?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Loved it.
Yeah.
Cool. Wow. We went 40 minutes, Hamlet. We went 40 minutes. Okay, just to let you know, Brooklyn, normal podcasts at Spot are 6 to 7 minutes.
10 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy
Yeah,
okay.
10 minutes if it's long.
Yeah, and you could ask Lacey, you could ask Jose, you can ask Marcus, you can ask Sophie, Michael, Juliet, everyone,
Hi.
Tanya, everyone that's been here. You can ask them. Sometimes we'll film something and it has to be filmed 4 more times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll take extra takes, and then we gotta worry about like editing and then audio, and then
Yeah.
Oh,
it's
there's
a lot
a
of
lot.
work.
Lot.
It's a lot of work.
I think having the run through we did before the live stream today was perfect. And last night when I went through and I tried to pick people who I knew had talked during class for certain questions, and I had the questions prepared and I sent it to them, which it all seemed like you guys knew what you were answering. That made a huge difference too. If you had asked someone who had no idea what the question was previously,
I love these kids.
I loved it.
Like Jose.
You love our-
In an authentic way.
So
least
just to
threatening
let
way.
you know,
I have
just to
hot
let
dog,
you
bro,
know, just to let you know, in the Spot chat, because right now, guys, I want you to know this. We're still live. Big Boss
Yeah,
did
we
not
are.
cut the stream. We're still live.
Yeah, we are.
A lot of your parents, a lot of your friends dropping comments and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
Oh, don't
I'm
worry, I'm
just-
spamming. I'm spamming
I'm just
all the likes.
thank you. Yeah, spam those likes like crazy.
hit the
I'm
heart
the
button like
MVP.
crazy.
Of
But we had
I'm the MVP
such
of heart button, bro.
we had such a great time. The cool thing is this. I am also, once it's all downloaded and processed, I'm going to upload it up to YouTube so we have it in 2 places. This way, if you just want to share the video, you could do it there. If you want to share it to them through Facebook, do it there. Guys, I can't stress this enough. If you love this, you will love summer session. You will love summer session so much. Please apply to the summer session. Cool?
Sorry, Trevor.
Cool. You're good. Okay. You're good.
Actually, I already did.
Good, Edgar.
I forgot to apply for mine. Ah!
Of course you did, Julie. Of course you did.
Julie.
Leave me alone.
Hurry up.
Guys, here's what I'll say. Let's call it an early class with 2 minutes left. You did great. Go grab some Capri Suns. Go have a good time.
Isn't that 2 minutes important, bro?
Go do your work.
Go to your, go to your job. And everyone
how to
wave
write
bye to the
cookies,
camera as we say goodbye to everyone. Big boss.
Waving to my non-camera.
And cut the camera. You guys take care.
There's my phone.
Bye, everyone. See you tomorrow.
Bye.